everyone, this is Bev from Art by Bedell, and I am happy to have you with me here again today, joining me as we work on the Ember prompts. And today I have chosen to work on this mixed media page that has been created from my cleanup paper. My cleanup paper being the paper that is on my desk. After it gets messy, I turned it into mixed media paper for my journal. So this is the page that I want to work on, and I'm going to work on the back side. I have already prepped the page with some gesso so that I can have a space here like with the white. Prompts for today are feathers and bingo card. So I have a bingo card. That's easy enough. The feathers was a little bit harder. I didn't only have, let's see, I think one lonely little feather. That wasn't going to go very far. I have this stamp that reminds me of a feather, and I have the stencil that is a feather. So I'm probably going to use the stamp and the stencil. I'm going to start with a stamp and maybe just create some of these lines around the outside edge. And I'm going to do that with my Distress Vintage Photo ink pad. Let's see. I always like to stamp off first and see how my stamp is stamping. Well, that's not very much ink on there. It's not dark enough for me. So I'm going to choose a different ink. Let's see how Ground Espresso works. That's a little bit darker. I don't want to go too dark, and I know that walnut stain is pretty dark. Let's just stamp it out. So it looks like it's going to be the walnut stain. So I will take my stamp and I will just go around the outside edge. Some of it can get up into the white. Yeah, I'll be happy with that. And like I say, this reminds me of a feather. That ought to be pretty. Let's get across the top here. And then down along the side here. I think I'll put a piece of paper on my ledger paper and put some of this over here too. It makes a really pretty border. There we go. My stamp that appears to be a feather is from the Tim Holtz collection, Stampers Anonymous, U51160. So I think that's enough of that. I like that. Now, the next thing I want to do is to take the stencil and maybe do like 3 feathers down here in the corner. But do I want to make a corner tuck spot with it and have it be on its own piece of paper, which could be some of my Mommy-Gami paper? I could stencil 3 of these and then cut them out. I think that's what I'll do. I still probably will use my Mommy-Gami paper, but let's do 3. Get out our texture paste. All right, I either have crackle paste, which is not what I want to use because I think this is too fine. You aren't going to get crackles anyhow. And I have my modeling paste from, I think it's Michael's Master's Touch. I don't really like this paste because it just is too plasticky, too looking when it's done. But it's what I have, so let's just go ahead and use that. Trying to use it up is what I'm trying to do. I can get some of the better stuff. And let's just make 3 of these feathers. Ooh, there's one. It's a nice feather, guys. I haven't used this in a long time. Isn't that nice? So let's get 2 more going here. There we go. Now I'm going to go wash this before it hardens onto my palette knife and onto my stencil. All right, while these are drying, let's work on our bingo card, which is going to be in our tuck spot. We have to do an elephant right here. And that is also going to be, as what I have done with all of the rest of them so far, a journaling card. So I can get that created. And all I do for the cards is to ink up around the edges, front and back, and to put journaling lines on the back. And then that will go in my pocket or tuck spot or whatever it is that I've made for the day. So let's get our lines on it. I have this line stamp, and I don't think I've said where it's from. Art Impressions, Q2310. You can use corrugated cardstock to get this same effect. To just peel off a layer and then use it as a stamp. There we go. So I'll set that aside because that's finished. I want to take my bingo card and ink up around the edge, although it's pretty well aged because it's old. It's very old. And it shows. The ink really doesn't show on it too much. So guys, I need to get some glue. I am so out of glue. That's the modeling paste. I want to take in on the back of this, I want to add some gesso. I have just a little bit of the Fabric Fusion left. I have a little bit of tacky glue. I am totally out of the 3-in-1. I do have plenty of the art glitter glue, and I have glue sticks. But I need my liquid glues too, and I need to make a run or an order on Amazon. Depends on how fast I want to get it, right? Lately, things have been coming pretty quickly. There. And let's just heat set that and probably put on a second coat. 2 layers on that side is good enough. Let's take our Distress Oxide again with our ground espresso and stamp one of these feathers alongside this for a border. There, very pretty. I'm thinking maybe we'll add some to the front also. Actually, I think I'm going to do 2. That looks pretty cool on there. One in each direction. Oh yeah. I need to go find me an elephant. I shall return. I have my elephant that I have decided to use on my bingo card, and it's like an Indian elephant. And then I have this little, it could be like a mandala, but what I'm going to do is my elephant's butt's going to cover that little elephant that's on there. And we're going to put that on here like this. Now, I was thinking of paper layers, and I came across this that I used the other day, and it actually goes very well with the blanket on the elephant. So I'm going to tear a piece of that off. I don't want to cover up my whole bingo card. I did that on the last time I used one, but we do need to add a few layers on here. So we'll put this here. And then this is going to go here with him on there like that. Like we're going to stick out over the edge also. Let's ink up around the edge of this. It's looking pretty cool. The back I'm going to save for journaling on. I add a little bit of this in there just to brighten it up a little bit. And this is some coffee stained copy paper. And that will go right under there just a little bit, because like I say, I don't want to hide all my numbers. And of course, let's see, what are we going to use for texture today? We could use the real feather. Will one feather be out of place, or will one feather be fine on the bingo card? I think one feather will be fine on the bingo card. So I'm going to glue this down and stitch around the outside, and then we'll make a page tab for it. I'm going to try highlighting my elephant a little bit. We need a little bit more glue down here too. It's better. So I'm going to take my black Stabilo All pencil and just outline him and see if we can't make him stand out a little bit more. Then I'll take a water brush and activate that. Well, I don't know that that helped him very much, so we'll let that dry. Actually, I'm going to dry it. We'll take our white Posca pen. That might help him show up more. I want to make a tab, and And let's use some of our paper here. So to make our tab, I've pulled a piece of my recycled art and ripped a rectangle out of it, inked up the edges, folded it in half. I have a number label from Shabby Dabby Doodah, and inked up the edges, folded that in half. And then I have another little number label from my Porch Prints, and we'll ink up that. A piece of the Mommy Gami paper, my art paper, and that's going to make a tab for my bingo card up here like this. I'm going to have that sticking out just a little bit. I'm going to staple it on. Then I want to put an eyelet up in here. So right on the edge of my tab here, I'm going to poke the hole for my eyelet. And insert that. Okay. And from there, I want to add a dangle. Now I could dangle this, which I might. I have a bulb clip. Open that up, poke a little hole in my paper, my label, and let's see, put that on my clip. I think in front of it, I'm going to put my little feather charm that I have and my key. And then I'll put my label and attach that all to my eyelet. So we have this cute little dangle up here. So we have a journaling card with a feather and an elephant and a bingo card. All of my elements are right here on this bingo card. And we have journaling space on the back. I'm going to splatter this. I add a little more water to my gesso that I have here because I think it was starting to get a little thick on me. The splatters were getting to be a little bit too much. So I have my brush and it's wet, and I'll take some paper and put underneath my journal card, and we'll give a little bit of splatters to this. Try not to go overboard. There, we'll stop right there. I also want to add some gold splatters. Stir this up a little, shake it off. There we go. So our journaling card is done. Let's see what we're going to do about our page. We'll set this aside to dry. For our page, we have our feathers that we have embossed with embossing paste. This is the elephant I found that would look so cool on this page, and he's going to be the tuck spot. I need to go around him with my ink. I think we'll tear out our feathers instead of cutting around them. I have to add some color to our feathers. Now, I understand they're peacock feathers, but today they're going to be for an elephant. So we're not going to do them in teal. We're going to add some wild honey, and I'm just going to apply it all with my fingers. I also want to add some rusty hinge. Need some green in here. I'm just going to spray a little of this. This is Bombay ink that I've made into a spray. We just want to add a little bit of that here and there. I don't want to spray it and have it take over my project. Now, I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to mist this and see if I can't get it all to blend together without ruining anything. Okay, very happy with those, but I feel they need to be toned down a little bit to go with our paper. I'm thinking they're coming along, but we need maybe some darker color in there. I don't want to go ground espresso. Let's try some vintage photo. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do water. Okay, I'll dry these real quick and see how they look on our page. I have not inked up around this yet. I'd find my gold splatters and put some gold, paint some gold on my elephant here. A gold tusk. All right, guys, with much fussing around and trying to decide what I wanted to do here to make this layout be pleasing to my eye, I've gone back and forth from which way to put everything, and I think this is the way I've come up with. I have added some gold paint to my elephant in place of all the white spots, and I've decided to add my feathers to the top of the page in the corner. And so let's get busy and put this together here. The first thing we need to do is to glue down our mulberry paper. Yes, guys, I am hooked on this brown mulberry paper for this journal. And probably I'll keep using it in all of my projects until I use it up. And then for the tuck spot, I want to glue the elephant's legs to this piece of paper, this piece of recycled art from, I think it was yesterday's project, that I thought went real nice with the elephant. I want to glue his legs and his head down and leave this open here. His tail is in the way, actually. He's just a little bit too big, but we're going to make him work. Let me get him glued down, and then we'll figure out how we're going to put him in the book. So from his belly down at this point, and from his husk down, we can add glue. I am going to add my art glitter glue. So here's his tusk. We can add some glue here, and then on all four of his legs. We'll decide on his tail after we get this closer to being into our page. So we have his legs and his tusk all glued down. Well, not his tusk, below his tusk, his trunk we have. We can glue the tip of his tail down because it is touching, and that'll help secure that a little bit. Let's see, do we get enough glue back here because we want this to be nice and smooth because we don't want our journal card to be catching on that. All right, so there is our tuck spot. And do I want to do any stitching on that? See, this is where I run into the problem when my pages are all sewn into the signature. I usually decide afterwards where I want to sew on the pages and that, and I would love to go up and sew on the edge of this, but they're all sewn in. So usually I do my pages and then I sew them into signatures into my spine of my journal. So I'm working a little bit backwards this time. I could cut that tail off, but I think you know what I'm going to do. Let me see. All right, let's glue this down and then decide how our journaling card is going to go in there. I think we're going to have to leave the whole spot open, and we could glue from his head, the side of his head, down and around. Let's give that a try. We can glue his whole trunk down too. That's a good thing. And then let's see how our card fits in there. Oh, it fits in there really nice. Really nice. So we're good to go on that. Let's let this set up before we put our card in. We just wanted to test it out. I wonder if I can put like some glue down here. We can. Let's glue this right in place too. That'll be helpful. I think for the tail might help. Now for our feathers, I would like to connect them together and put them up here. And I'd like to connect them right to the page with an eyelet. So if we're careful, we can do this. Let's find our hole punch here, wherever we may have left it, over here. And make sure that we're punching through all three of the feathers. That should do it. Let's get an eyelet. Put that in. Like that, and set it. I think we did it. There we have it. That looks cool. Now this needs a dangle also, so let's figure out what we're going to use for a dangle there. So for my dangle, I've either decided to use a bulb clip, which is what I used on the tag, or this little clip. And let me see how that opens up. Very hard. Anyhow, I have found a couple little charms. This, I don't know what it is. It's, I don't know, it almost looks like a crushed penny that has some writing or something on it. Anyhow, we're going to put that on there. On the back side, I want to put the little leafy thing that I found. And then I have this little charm that says inspire, and maybe it won't go on there. Okay, so that's a no-go. I'll put this on there. And then let's see what I can find for a couple of beads. That's what we're going to do. How am I going to attach that to that? I mean, I like our dangle. I'm just not sure how I'm going to attach it to it, unless I have an idea. What if I took this little jump ring off here? Put the chain down through the eyelet. And brought it back around and attached it. There's a will, there's a way, and that will work. There we go. Put this away. And I think we have our page done. I like the dangle. There's a little bit of room here that we can do some journaling. We have our piece of ephemera, our journal card, can be journaled on the back. We have a tuck spot down here to put our tag in. And that just all looks pretty good together, guys. There's our page for day 6 of feathers, bingo card, and an elephant. There we go. I really didn't know how I was going to pull off an elephant. I guess this turned out all right. So thanks for watching. We shall see you again on day 7 of December Ember. Have a great day today. Bye, guys.